If you have ever felt like confidence wasn't made for people like us, the quiet ones, the gentle ones, I want you to know that you don't have to be louder or different or more out there to be confident. Because I used to think that too. But what if confidence could be soft? What if it could feel like peace? If you met my younger self, you probably wouldn't recognize me. Not because I look dramatically different from the outside, but because of how small I used to feel inside. I was the quiet kid, thin, anxious, always trying to disappear into the background. And yet somehow, I felt like everyone was watching me. Every move I made, every flaw I tried to hide, I believed it was under a microscope. That feeling, it's called the spotlight effect. When you think people are noticing your every mistake, when in reality, they're just busy thinking about themselves. But when you're growing up insecure, that logic doesn't always land. I wasn't just worried about being seen, I was terrified of being judged. Weird, awkward, out of place. So I did what so many of us do. I tried to fit in, I tried to blend. I shaped myself around what I thought people wanted me to be. I became a quiet people pleaser, always second guessing how I came across, saying yes when I meant no, smiling when I felt uncomfortable, trying to be normal, whatever that meant, just so I wouldn't stand out in the wrong way. But here's the thing, fitting in is not the same as belonging. And somewhere along the way, that started to wear me down. Looking back, I understand now. My fear of being seen came from underconfidence, from always trying to be liked, from believing that if I could just be less me, I might be more acceptable. But one day, very quietly, without any dramatic event, I realized something that changed everything. It was all in my head. People aren't watching me that closely, they're not analyzing my every move. They're not zoomed in on my flaws like I thought they were. And in that moment, I started to question everything I believed about confidence. I used to think confidence meant being the loudest person in the room, being outgoing, having a huge circle of friends, always being out and about. The kind of person that shines without trying. But that never felt right for me. And maybe it never had to. What I've come to learn is this: confidence isn't about being loud. Confidence is about being okay in your own skin. And sometimes that quiet, steady kind of confidence is the most powerful kind. This YouTube channel is a living proof of that. Because just a few years ago, I couldn't even speak when there were 10 people in the room. And now, I speak to hundreds of you. And I do it without feeling like I need to hide. That might sound small to some, but for me, it's a transformation I never thought is possible. So, how did I get here? Honestly, it wasn't an overnight thing. There was no single light bulb moment, just a series of quiet decisions, one after another, small shifts that added up over time, like learning how to get out of my own head, letting go of the habit of replaying every awkward moment in my head, and most importantly, looking at myself without picking myself apart. That was one of the hardest things, learning to see myself without judgment, to stop treating my flaws like enemies, to meet myself with kindness instead of criticism. I also made a conscious choice to protect my energy, to limit my interactions to people who made me feel safe, people who didn't expect me to perform or fit into a version of myself I didn't recognize. You don't have to be surrounded by 100 people to feel connected. Sometimes, one or two kind souls are all you need. People who remind you that you are enough as you are, not because you're perfect, but because you're human. So, if you're someone who relates to my younger self, if you feel like you're constantly shrinking yourself, overthinking everything, if you're waiting for the world to finally see you and approve of you, let this video be your quiet reminder. You don't need permission to be yourself. The most monumental change you can make in your life is this: stop waiting to be accepted and start living. Not for everyone else, but for you. Start slowly, start gently, start wherever you are, because confidence doesn't arrive in grand moment. It builds in the little choices, like speaking even when your voice trembles, like walking into a room and not feeling the need to apologize for existing, like choosing to love yourself even on the days when it's hard. And trust me, it will be hard sometimes. I still have moments when I slip, when the old fears creep back in, when I wonder if I'm doing enough, being enough, or fitting in the right way. But now, I know how to come back to myself. I know that I don't have to be perfect to be proud of how far I've come. And that's what growth really is. Not becoming someone new, but remembering that you're allowed to be a work in progress. You're allowed to be soft and still be strong. Your journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's, and you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be heard. If my story feels like your story, if you've ever felt unseen, too quiet, too anxious, too awkward, I want you to know this: you're not alone. And you're not broken. You're just growing. And one day, you'll look back at the version of yourself who was scared to speak, and you'll realize you were never weak. You were just learning how to be free. Take this as your permission slip to stop overthinking, to start living, and to breathe a little deeper in your own skin. It won't happen all at once, but the moment you take that first step, you'll start to feel the shift. Maybe not in the world outside you, but inside, where it matters the most. And trust me, that change, that quiet, invisible, life-altering change, it's everything.